Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? I'm super excited for this video because I'm going to be doing a first impression on the Sydney Grace Cosmetics Summer Days palette. I recently picked this up during the Christmas in July sale and I have been dying to finally put it on my eyes, so in today's video I went ahead and did swatches and then also an eye look. Spoiler alert, I am definitely feeling this look and I really love how it turned out. Here is what the palette looks like, and I did grab the light version. They also have a deep version which I can go ahead and throw a picture on screen just so you can see the difference really quickly. 3 of the shades are different. So before we jump into the rest of the video, I just wanted to say really quickly, welcome back to my channel, or hello for the first time if you are new here. My name is Amy and I absolutely love talking about indie makeup brands. That's kind of my little niche over here on my channel. I love talking about smaller brands that are independently owned like Sydney Grace Cosmetics. So if you want to see more of that in your subscription feed, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now let's go ahead and jump right on in. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start off by doing some swatches of the palette. I'm pretty sure I already know what I want to do today, but this video will probably be more helpful for y'all if you do see swatches. So the first shade here is called Bask, and it looks to be a really beautiful, just metallic light gold. Super, super pretty. And then we have the shade Sandcastle, which is a little bit more, kind of just looks like a very warm neutral shade. Gosh, I feel like there's a word I'm trying to think of, but it is not coming to mind. But it looks really, really pretty. And also that swatch is super smooth. And then we have the shade Break of Day. That one looks super pigmented and it's a little bit of a deeper warm brown. That one's not quite as creamy though. A little bit more buildable. Okay, next we have a row of mattes. First is the shade Daystar, and this one almost looks a little bit more like a mauve-y kind of neutral shade. And then we have the shade Beach Days, which again kind of looks like a neutral brown. That one actually has a bit more depth to it than I originally anticipated from how it looks in the palette. And then we also have the shade Cherry Picking, which looks like a nice brown, a nice brown. Wow, that matte is so smooth. That's crazy. And then that one is not as smooth. Okay. It still feels pretty creamy though. Looks like it'll be a good deepening shade for me. And then on the last row we have the shade Blood Orange, which is kind of like a satiny purpley brown. I don't know, it looks like it has just a tiny bit of purple to it. And then there is the shade S'mores, which is a super metallic gold. But I feel like actually looking at this whole palette, it's really not that much of a warm neutral palette. It's very neutral. And then I just realized I didn't swatch either of those shades. Here's what we're working with. Look at S'mores. Crazy. It's so pretty. And then lastly we have the shade Camping, which is another uber metallic shade, but this one is a little bit more of a bronze. But again, look at that. That is such a pretty neutral palette. I just feel like it has a really nice gradient and it looks delicious to me, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so jumping into the eye look, I did already go ahead and prime my eyes with the Tarte Shape Tape, and I think I'm gonna start off with the shade Sandcastle, this matte right here. There's definitely a little bit of kickback, so I'm being careful, but I'm just gonna throw that right into my crease to start off with. And just blend it out using a big fluffy blending brush. My first thought is honestly this shade is appearing on the eyes much darker than I originally thought that it was going to be. So I'm glad that I decided to go ahead and get the light version of this palette, because originally I was going back and forth between this one and the deeper version. But this actually looks like a really, really beautiful tone for me. Like, look at that. That is stunning. It reminds me of something. Is it like Rosewood? Is that the name that I'm thinking of? I'm just evenly distributing that throughout my entire crease. Just blending it out before we go on to the next shade. I feel like that is blending really, really nice too. So I'm just going to go ahead and also grab that on a little smudging pencil brush. and just throw that along the entire lower lash line and then kind of connect the outer V together. Probably going with something else on the lower lash line in a little bit, but I just really have been liking doing this to start off with, just to kind of give my eye a little bit more of like an overall connected shape. I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Beach Days on a little bit more of a precise kind of tapered crease brush, and I'm going to put that right through my entire crease, just deepening everything a little bit. Again, there's some kickback in the pan, so I'm just trying to be a little bit more careful, tapping off the excess. It is very pigmented. I feel like these are blending out and looking so rich on the eye. Now I'm going to grab the deepest matte, the Cherry Picking shade right here, and I'm also going to take that on my little pencil brush, and I'm just going to pop that right onto my outer V. Again, so rich, so pigmented, that's barely using any product. I'm not going to worry too much about blending with that smaller brush. I'm just going to go back into my tapered blending brush and go over that edge there. Just making sure everything is nice and soft. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take a touch of the shade Blood Orange on a smudging brush. And I'm going to pop that onto my lower lash line. Just keeping that really close to the lash line and not smudging it out as much. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and grab the shade S'mores for all over my lid. I am so excited for that color, but I think because just putting my brush in, it does feel like it's a little bit chunkier. I'm going to wet my brush just to help it along just a little bit, just using a random setting spray that I don't like from Iconic London. I think I got this in a BoxyCharm or something. Just going to go ahead and put that on the lid. Oh my gosh. That is so beautiful and so pigmented. I can just go ahead and do both eyes. Wow. I think I might actually go ahead and take just a touch of the shade Camping with my finger, like just like the tiniest little amount ever, and I'm gonna pop that on this little area right here in between the matte and S'mores, just to add a little extra something. That one's definitely a bit warmer. And then I'm taking just the tiniest little bit more of Cherry Picking, that deep brown, and blending it in. I got very minimal fallout, but I'm just gonna go ahead and take my powder brush and lightly dust that away. So the last shade I'm gonna take is this one right here called Basque, the lightest shimmer in the palette, and I'm gonna pop that onto the inner corner. This one's a little bit more satiny compared to the other two shades that are metallic in this palette. Well, this one's still metallic. It's not like a satin, but it's just not as textured or intense. Just a little softer, but works good for the inner corner. I feel like it would be a really pretty face highlight. You could use it underneath the brow bone. For blush today, I'm going to take my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in the shade Luminous Flush, and this is the most frustrating product because you can see where it's at right now. This was in my project pan for 2020, and I swear I've used this blush so consistently, and I mean it's now like flat and it's not rounded on top, but it is crazy how long it takes to go through a blush, even when it's a little mini size. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that on. Oh, I realized I just started doing my face and I didn't even finish my liner or my mascara. That is so me. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take one of my favorite liners. This is the Appeal Gel Liner in the shade Deep Taupe. I feel like it's just the prettiest warm brown, and I think it'll go really well with this look. So we're gonna throw that on, throw on the We Make Up More mascara, and I'll be right back. So for highlighter today, like I said, that shade Basque in the palette I think would be really stunning as a highlighter, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it as such. And I'm just gonna take one of my new Sigma brushes. This is the Soft Blend 30, and it is really great if you like to use eyeshadows as highlighters, because it's kind of the perfect size of a typical 26mm pan, but it's also big enough that I feel like you can put it on your cheekbones where you want it and kind of blend it out, and it's not too small. So I'm really liking this brush, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up a little bit of that Oh yeah, that's pretty. It's a little tiny bit bronzy for me because I'm so fair, but you can fix that super easily by just blending back into your blush a little bit. And then I'm also going to go over that with my blush brush, just as I always do. So last but not least is lips, and I went ahead and picked out this shade Divine Flesh from Necromancy Cosmetica because it's kind of a little bit more of like a brownie nude. I just thought it would go with the vibes of this look, just from looking at the palette. It's my first time wearing this one on the lips, and although Necromancy Cosmetica's lipsticks are very, very matte, this one is so pretty. I absolutely love the color. I've been super impressed with their lipsticks thus far. So this is the finished look, and I absolutely love how it turned out. So just to quickly sum up my thoughts on the Summer Days palette so far, I know I've only played with it once on my eyes, but I feel like this could possibly be one of the best neutral palettes ever. I just feel like the mattes blended so easily. They were so rich. The shimmers are super foiled, and I just feel like if you are a neutral lover, this palette was just effortless to use. Like, I'm kind of blown away a little bit. I have been obsessing over the Sydney Grace Enduring Love palette recently for more cool toned looks, but the Summer Days palette I feel like is also going to be put into the rotation because the shadows are just so high quality. I'm just living my best life right now with Sydney Grace. I can't wait to play with this palette more, but I do feel very confident that if these are your colors, the quality is definitely there. So that is everything for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.